So y'all are getting this Tuesday morning, which is a day later than I normally release my podcast. And I am personally blaming Lowe's, Home Depot, and Walmart. Why? Just because I don't like what's happening. And I don't like that this is coming to you a day late. And so I'm just looking for someone to blame. Actually, the truth is I'm just parroting what our Speaker of the Texas House, Dennis Bonnen, is doing. Guys, he came out with a Twitter storm that is rather comical. And he said, "I'm tired of navigating a germ pool in an overcrowded Lowe's, Home Depot, and Walmart. They haven't dealt with the devastation of having to turn customers away, and yet their behavior might be what keeps hair salons and gyms closed and restaurants at restricted capacity." Now, this is just a total misunderstanding. And again, I think I said this several weeks earlier. I think that maybe the Speaker has just been in government so long that he has a hard time understanding cause and effect and how much government's intrusion and its central planning can negatively affect an entire society. And because when you've been in government so long, you become pretty trustworthy of government. You just fall into the trap of thinking government knows best. And if all of the peons below government would just listen to us, we would be able to get all of you through this safely. And it's that worldview and perspective that now has him saying that the reason that gyms and hair salons are closed and the few restaurants that are open and only allowed 25% capacity is because Lowe's, Home Depot, and Walmart are a germ pool. It's so strange. And the identity crisis that exists at the highest levels of the Republican Party in Texas just continues to reveal itself. I had an idea today. You know, we have these licenses. And so basically, I'm a realtor. I'm a licensed realtor. I don't do it full time, but I have my license. And in order to do so, I had to take these classes. And then I had to take a state exam and a national exam to show my competency before I was allowed to be a realtor, right? And we've talked on this program about what happened with plumbers and the fact that the license went away and then the governor just decided by kind of sheer order and willpower of his authority to say they have to be licensed. But there's all these other areas that get licensed, right? And people get a medical license, which honestly, I would dare all of you to go like under the knife of a surgeon who's not licensed. That'd be an interesting thing. I guess you could go to Mexico and get really cheap surgeries, but maybe you'll be like missing a liver at the end of your surgery, which got sold on the black market. So that's a bad idea. Don't do that. Please don't go to Mexico to get your surgery done. But I was thinking, I think it would have to be the Republican Party. I don't think that it would be appropriate for the state to pass a license. But I think the Republican Party should have a licensing exam in a sort to say, you, in order to be a Republican elected official, have to at least pass a basic Government 101, Constitution and constitutional rights, 15-question test. And if you can't, you're duly elected in your areas, so you're fine. You're the state rep of so-and-so district, but you are not a member of the Republican Party because you lack a basic understanding of what people's fundamental rights are, of what your limitations are in the powerful position you're in. And so therefore the Republican Party is just not seeing the usefulness of having you as wearing our brand on a regular basis. I just think it's something that we should at least consider. Government is causing so many problems right now, and then it's trying to react to its own problems it's causing, and it isn't because it caused additional problems that it can't overcome. And what I mean by that in a very practical way is I know somebody in payroll, the person who does my payroll for my employees. And if you need to know, I'll message me. I'll hook you up with a great payroll company, a small business, family-owned small business. And so they were helping several clients get their PPP money, the Payroll Protection Act, which is passed by the government to say, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to grant you a certain set of dollars. And this is going to cover 2.5 months of payroll for the employees that you employed in 2019. Okay, so you can't just like beef up a ton of employees now. But if you had regular employees that you had in the year of 2019, you can apply and then we will give you $40,000 that will cover the 2.5 months of having those employees hired. And so several of these businesses who have had to furlough people applied. And we've had to work with our payroll company, and other people have worked with their payroll companies to say, hey, what does that even look like? And so they have a client get his PPP loan from the government. The government says, hey, we're going to give you this money and we're going to forgive it as long as you use it to pay your employees. So then he calls his employees and says, hey, I know you was furloughed you, but I have the money to now pay you. Come back in. Let's start having a productive business again. And they say, hey, here's the deal. I'm making like 40 grand a year on unemployment. So I would love to come back and work for you when the government stops paying me a lot more than I was making when I worked for you. And this is a problem that has existed in other states too, but this is real. This is a North Texas company who now has gotten free money from the government that it's saying, we're going to give you this so you can keep paying people. Oh, but by the way, we're going to pay the people that you fire more than you pay them. So good luck getting them back. So he's like, well, what? I have to spend this money over a 2.5 or 3 month period on payroll, and I can't bring people back because the government is paying them tons of money not to work. And it really shows the perverse incentive the government creates, because government first told everybody they couldn't work. Then it said, you know what? We're really bad for, we're going to give you a lot of money for being unemployed because we're sorry we told all of you to work. Well, this is bad. We're going to give your employers money to pay you. Oh, we're paying you more than your employees were paying you. Whoops. This is a testimony. It's a testament to why central planning is a bad idea. So we've really got to examine what we're doing here in Texas. Guys, I hope you are enjoying the blessed time you have during coronavirus. I hope you realize that whatever situation you're in, there's probably somebody out there who's in a much more difficult scenario. I hope this, for those of you who have been good planners with your finances, you're doing fine. And I hope for those of you who weren't in a good position, you're taking the opportunity to realize what you can do moving forward to better insulate yourself for the fragility that the unpredictability of life brings so many of you. The state of Texas is the identity crisis that exists within our Republican Party has existed within our Republican Party for the last year, the solid year and a half or so. I mean, following the November election results in 2018, that's the identity crisis that started there and has just plagued the party is going to continue to cause us to have a conversation within the family on what we even believe. And there's going to be a real hesitancy by most Republicans who won't want to actually say, hey, can we at least have a real conversation about this? And instead are going to, and instead are just going to want to point the finger at the Democrats. Or in Speaker Bonnen's perspective, point the finger at Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart, instead of saying, wait a second, what do we as Republicans believe? And then how do we see government's large-fisted, big-handed action over an entire society playing out? And how should that cause us to question our reaction in the future? That would probably be very helpful and worth considering. Well, I hope you are all having a blessed week. I'm sorry for coming to you a day late, and it is not Lowe's fault. It is not Home Depot's fault. It's not Walmart's fault. It is my fault. So I am sorry for being late. I will try to be on time next week. God bless you and God bless Texas. Thank you so much for watching this video through in its entirety. If you're somebody who's been following on with the conversations and the commentary that we've been producing here, we're going to ask you to do a couple quick things. Go to lukemacias.com. You can give us your email and sign up. We will email you new content, commentary, conversations as we produce it. Also, you can, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can like our page, follow our page, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. This will just continue to ensure that when we produce content, it gets to you more easily. Thank you so much for continuing to support the conversations we're producing. God bless you. God bless Texas.